Wednesday afternoon, perfect time, Wednesday evening, 8 p.m., perfect time for a live stream. Welcome everyone. Let me start by explaining why we're here tonight. I tell you in many videos that we believe that properties that you see on public websites, they're shit, right? They're overpriced, they're not good. And the mission of PerFinEx is that we always try to find the best solution for you guys. And for many, many years, we have had good connections with property developers all around Germany, mainly Munich because we're in Munich. But it's getting more and more over the years. And it's also what I told you in many videos. This is the way to success, right? Not buying from any real estate agent, but buying directly from the source. And especially after the blindsided video, where we went through the customer journey, that they bought a property and it was maybe not the best decision that this couple made. It's a video that we posted a couple of weeks ago. We get so many exposés and so many questions about property valuation from you guys. And that's why we will go very detailed through a property valuation today from a property that we sent out through the Properties of the Week newsletter yesterday. And I'm not alone. Lukas is also here. He will walk us through the property valuation software. I don't know the result yet. The team, of course, knows. I don't know the result yet, so we will basically find out together. All right, then welcome Lukas. Maybe you want to tell us more about Price Hubble.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Happy to be here today. And yeah, you already see my screen. I will show you the functionality and the values of Price Hubble today, why we are using it. And first of all, I want to give you more details about what it is exactly. So what you can already read, it's a data-driven platform, and they are collecting all of the data from ImmoScout, ImmoWorld, different portals like even eBay, but also bigger ones like JLL or other real estate agencies. And they collect this data and they have an AI-driven real estate valuation that gives then detailed market prices for every area in Munich, Germany. They also offer Austria and Switzerland. We are here especially for Germany, and I also are most interested in there. So we will take a look at the property Axel already promoted. And yeah, I will show you today how this works, what's the functionality, and how the valuation is working in detail. I'm already logged in. As you maybe also can see here, big companies like JP Morgan, we have Capital, Fondpol Real Estate, so quite a big ones. And they all are working on this platform. So let me get right into it. I already opened a new report. It's sadly fully in Germany due to that we have a German account, but still I think most of the titles are explained by themselves, and we will get you fully in detail with every single step. So Axel, I need a few information from your side. I think you told me it's a penthouse apartment, right?
It is, yes.
It's a suite or?
Say again?
Penthouse suite works. It's a penthouse suite, right?
Yes, penthouse, yeah. One room apartment, upper floor.
Give me the address first.
Dachauer Straße 244 here in Munich.
44 in Munich. Yeah, we got it here. And it's a penthouse, you already said. What's the building year?
Building year is, so from the property it's 1961. But we had modernizations going.
When was it renovated?
Last year, it's freshly renovated. So this will be the first move-in right after renovation.
Awesome. So square feet from the apartment itself?
48.
48. The energy level?
Energy level. So from the entire property, it's E. Energy class
From the
E.
apartment. Okay.
The property itself is most likely gonna be better. So this is maybe one. This may be one thing that we should talk about. One thing that we should talk
It's okay.
about.
We will use the first one.
So
Okay.
the energy efficiency class is always made from the property itself, right? Not from every single flat. It's always the entire property. And we talked to the property developer about this, of course, what he has done in terms of renovations and all of it. And the entire property has, for example, double glass windows. That's why it's energy class E, which is maybe not that great, right? But when he did the renovations, he replaced the two glassed windows with triple glass windows. So it's still E, but the penthouse itself will be a lot better than E. And if at some point the owners association decide that E is not good enough anymore and they want to upgrade to D or C, the first thing that they're going to do, because this actually brings a lot, is they're going to replace the windows, which means the entire property has to buy new windows except this flat because it already has new windows. So that's maybe one little trick for you guys, that just looking at a number or an energy efficiency class is maybe not the way to go. Maybe you have to look a little bit deeper what this actually means.
Okay, so it already got triple glass.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. We will come to that later. It's on which floor?
8 out of 8.
Okay. You said it's a one-room apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it should be also get one bathroom.
Yes.
So how big is the balcony?
Balcony. Let me see. Wohnfläche, Nutzfläche. 43.
Wow, it's really big. Okay, so no garden probably. Is there a garage included?
Yes,
the price?
Tiefgarage.
One or two?
One.
One? Okay. And I think with that much floors it should have a lift, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, the next thing what we have to decide or we have to rank is the quality and what's the status of each of that.
Okay.
So first of all, we have the kitchen. I think you're showing pictures as well, right?
Yes, yeah, people can see it. And maybe before we come to the pictures, this is, I think, because when we see exposés, right, that you guys get from real estate agents, or if we see comments about, hey, should I buy a newly built in Leipzig, or should I buy an old property in Berlin or something? This is, you can see already the first page, and we haven't even talked about a lot, but what type of information they would want, right? In order to make a real good assessment if the property is worth the value that the seller wants or not. So that you can already see a little bit how deep all of this goes. Okay,
Awesome.
let's continue.
So, we would start with the kitchen.
Yes.
And if it's from the pictures you sent me, I'm quite sure it's luxury. It's the highest one that's possible. It looks really
yes.
amazing.
So it's completely newly built, Induktionsherd, washing, dishwasher.
Awesome, really nice. And here for you guys to understand, that's when it was renovated. So due to that, it was last year. It's new, just for you to understand. So in the bathroom, it's important for me. Are there just like cheap one, or is there real stone, and is it big in proportion to the apartment,
So it's
or
real stone.
between? What do you think?
It's real stone. We have Grohe washing things, a rain shower.
Okay, good. That's definitely also luxury. Okay, for the floor, it's really important to know if it's real wood or
Yeah.
not. That's
Yes.
the most important thing
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Real wood, Echtholzparkett.
And I think, as you already mentioned, with triple glass, I already asked for that. That's the highest thing that's possible.
Yeah. That was
I think
very
there is not
important
even a high one.
from the property developer that he made this clear. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still not usual, honestly. So, also freshly renovated, right? So everything was made freshly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got you right there.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And it even has a, because I'm living at the top floor too, and I know how hot it can get. It even has a air conditioner, which is really nice if you live at the top floor.
Okay, that's like a bonus. I sadly cannot give that extra here, but I think it would just higher the price. So we will keep that up here. What's the offer price?
People
Just
can
for
see
us to see the
it
ranking.
versus this here, 405K.
405,000.
Munich is not
Oh.
cheap, guys.
Oh, it's the first time people are able to buy. It was much worse before.
True.
So
True.
I will now create the document.
Okay. So this is quite
So
some
we get the market ranking.
quite some detailed stuff that they want to know. I like it.
Yes, we have not given, there is even more information with the comment field we could do here. But for now, I would download the report. It's much more detailed than we see here, but it will take a few seconds. And I will make that ready. Here I can do it. So I just need the basic stuff. That's quite interesting. Yeah, that's the most important ones. So I will download this now.
Okay.
So yeah, as told, this will take a while because I had to create everything.
Okay. Then let's see.
Oh, wait. I see something wrong here. I
So for the
think
longest,
I sadly come here. I have 90 years. Sorry for that. Have to correct that. Now we got it right.
okay.
No, sorry for that.
No
Don't know how
issue.
I came to that.
So
So
while we give some to give Lucas some time, maybe. So for the longest time, we weren't really fans of buying in the middle of Munich, right? And maybe it's not in the middle of Munich, like Schwabing and all of it, if you know it. And maybe there's also some districts in Berlin that are like super hyped. Maybe they're still very expensive. But a property like this, let's see what the report will say. But a property like this for 405K. So if you guys imagine the 1% interest rate that we had a while ago, this this property would have been worth a lot more with different interest rate. So Munich is actually becoming, as all the other A cities, actually a viable investment option again. So from what I know from Price Hubble, that it's it basically gives you, so it evaluates what the property is worth and then gives you certain comparisons and shows this is the area, this is other properties in the area, how are they priced, how is yours priced based on that, what's the historical price that you got, what kind of people would live in that area. Because if maybe some of you know a little bit about Munich, in maybe in Neuperlach or in Hasenbergl or something, which are not like the most hyped districts.
If you want, maybe I can explain a bit more how
Yeah,
this
okay.
works. So Price Hubble is basically laying a GPS raster over the whole Germany, and it goes about 200 meters x 200 meters, and for that it collects data from the state, from resources, from private resources, from platforms, from everything you can imagine, and then gets it into the system, and the AI evaluates the different resources. So, for example, resources from the state are more valued than private ones because they have a real proof that this is made perfectly. And after they have all of these different, they call it KGS. So that's the name for the 200 x 200 meters. They can give quite detailed information about the people, about the income streams, about the next, or like say geographic data like trains or parks and all of this stuff. And with these together, with the data from the prices from ImmoScout, ImmoWelt, they also get some really from the ground book in Germany, but they are not allowed to get all of them. You have to be okay with that because of data security. And with all of these together, they give you these reports. So it's really cool. And I think it finally downloaded.
All right, let's see it.
Give me a second. Oh no, 80%. But we are close.
Okay. So what do we usually, we use this tool in meetings occasionally, right? If people come to us and they already have a property that they want to buy, that they found somewhere on the internet or from some property developer or whatever, and then occasionally we use this tool, right? What has been mostly you used it, huh? What has been the result so far? What are internet prices compared to Price Hubble prices?
Of course, the internet prices are higher. One thing is, of course, that if you buy a property, you don't say, okay, I will give you exactly the price, what's on the market. And the second thing is that you have probably the real estate margins from the maklers on it, and Price Hubble excludes that already. So there are a few points where you can really see quite fast that the prices are differently.
Okay. So while it's still downloading, we got a question. How much initial capital would be needed, considering also closing costs of 5.5%? Yeah, so ideal case scenario always, and I think with this, let's see what Price Hubble says, right? This would certainly be a strong argument to give to the bank, like a Price Hubble report. But if Price Hubble says it's worth 405K, then you could get this as 100% financing from the bank, and you pay the 5.5% because it's in Bavaria. And here since last year, we're the only state in Germany left with 3.5% ground purchasing tax and 2% notary. We don't charge the real estate agent fee because we're no real estate agent. So this would only be 5,500 on top. 5.5%. So 405 times, so 22,275 is basically the closing costs. If the property is good, which in this case it probably is, and your financial situation is good, then you can get 100% financing. If one of the two is not that great, and every bank that values this a little bit different, but there's usually a market range. If one of the two is not that great, then you don't get 100% financing. And is there an estimate for Hausgeld? Yeah, for this one it is. It's of course different for every single property. For this one, it's 195 euros. All right, Lucas, what is the percentage saying?
I'm already on it, and I
Okay.
hope you see it now. I already tried it, but it somehow disappeared.
Yes, you can
You
even
can see
make
it now,
make it a little bit wider.
right there. Second,
Yeah,
better.
looks good. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Good.
How
Now
many
you can
pages
see.
is it?
I took the long report, so I think it's about 11 pages.
See?
But yeah, we could do shorters too. But I thought we can go through a lot of things, and it's
So
really
I think
interesting. So
So I think what people can learn from this already is that so a real property valuation goes far deeper than anybody ever thought, probably. If this is like 11 pages.
yes, of course. I think most of the real estate agents don't even provide such ecographic data or demographic data that's really reliable to the real estate value. And it's one of the important things. If you ask some renters that are looking in Munich for an apartment, they will probably mostly take care where it is located, how is it compared to others. And for you also, it's really interesting. Am I buying at the top price? Am I buying at the lower price? What's the price range at the moment, and what kind of informations can I have about the property? So I would start now.
Yeah, let's take a
So
look.
first of all, we have basic informations like, of course, where it is, our name we gave to, and here we see the.
So maybe for people that are watching from outside of Munich, so Moosach has a S-Bahn station. Usually in Munich, we talk about the MVG, so where we have like public transport. And Moosach has U-Bahn station, which is like the smaller ring. And Moosach has also a S-Bahn station, which is like, this is where it gets really valuable, right? Real estate in Munich, in S-Bahn region, is far more valuable than not S-Bahn station, where it's not reachable by public transport anymore. And Moosach also has the S-Bahn, which goes directly to the airport. So it's actually really good location. And on the top right, you can see Olympia Einkaufszentrum. So that's like is it the biggest shopping mall in Munich? One of the biggest.
One of the, I think the second one, the second biggest one.
Which one? Pep is larger, or?
I think the passing arcades are the biggest one,
true.
but I'm not sure about it, honestly.
True.
But I think they are really, really big.
Yeah, true.
Also, what I wanted to say, what's really cool here, as I went to the gym in the Dachauer Street, it's one of the only streets in Munich that go directly to the central station and to the city center. You don't have to cross anything, and also really, really nice, it has not much traffic lights, so you can really drive nearly immediately to the city center. Sorry, but I loved that when I lived there.
So not just good by public transport, nice.
Okay, so here are the basic information we gave.
Yeah.
The quality, but we saw it before, and I would now jump into the details. So, for example, you can here see the market trends, and I think it's quite easy to explain that. If you notice the market over the last 2 years, there was a lot going on, and we can see this directly here. So what's really important here, you should be a bit aware if you buy really at the top. Because it's probably not the best idea because it will go down earlier or later. So that's the information I get out of that. Axel, do you want to say something too?
Yeah, I'm just baffled a little bit. So the average price of the last month was 445,000 euros. It's like 10% more of the selling price. And in 2023, we already had high interest rates, right? But it was still, let's say, low
Um,
with 501. And then in May, it increased to 607. And then it came down again. Crazy.
Yeah, you have to give one important information here. Price Hubble is very detailed. So they are not comparing to other normal apartments. They are comparing to penthouses.
Ah,
And
okay.
penthouses are probably really, really expensive
Yes.
because they are limited. That's also a big reason why a lot of investors are buying them, because in the city centers, you won't be able to buy them forever. It will get harder and harder because you cannot just simply build more of them.
Yeah.
And that's why the gaps will be a lot higher, because you will also have a lot high valuated properties, and they will, of course, most of them will be in the luxury sector.
And is it possible that in May and June there was only a couple of sales and that's why the numbers are so different?
Yes, this could also be in. I always take a look at the average. So if I
Yeah.
notice here, okay, there are like big gaps, then probably something happened. So, for example, if you push a property on the market worth 30 million and it gets flipped, it makes a really big impact because you don't have that much penthouse apartments. But we will see in detail
Yeah.
in a few
And now, of course, the
minutes.
question is, with everything that's going on, right, is it bottoming out at this 440, 430K? We have many videos about this. I think one of the videos was from 2 weeks ago or something, where we talked about real estate in 2024. So all the fears that people have that interest rates were increasing, and the central banks already talk about it in summer, they want to decrease interest rates again, which would be good for the stock market, historically at least, which would be good for the real estate market. Then we got the final numbers from 2023, preliminary final numbers, but almost, about construction permits, and they were absolutely horrible. And you know how this is. The construction permits of last year are the amounts of properties that we built this year. So this is going to be absolutely horrible. So the supply is very, very low. And the demand, when we look at how many people came to Germany last year, is higher than ever. So these are certainly strong arguments that the market could bottom out now. Can it be that it still goes down a little bit and it only recovers in 6 months? Maybe. I don't have a crystal ball. But certainly with the time horizon that you should have in mind with real estate anyway, 10 years, I think this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, I also wanted to jump in there. So if you look on the 10 years horizon, it would be quite bad to buy at the 607K or around here, because the gap would be quite big. That could go down. So it's a basic sentence. Buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's just
But
that
we
people are
will get a
always
lot of more
scared,
details
right?
to
That
that.
people like to buy. It's the same with the stock market. If everything's high and everything's hyped, and then people like to buy and jump in because of FOMO, fear of missing out. And then they say, I wish I would have bought lower. And then when prices are low, everybody's scared and nobody wants to buy.
So I would go on now. We're still on the, so you usually see average prices, but it's just like different kind to show the upper one. We also had, now you see the really big jumps, but that's just 21 days. So that's really interesting. So maybe you want to explain, or should I read this?
Walk us through it, please.
The cool thing here is, if you want to sell a property like that, it's just 21 days on the market. After that, it's sold already. So in average, after 3 weeks, the property is sold for the price you give to the market. For example, ImmoScout or ImmoWelt, wherever you want to sell it. Quite interesting for us. Why? If the number would be higher than 100, you should probably be a bit, scared is the wrong word, but you should take note of that, because it also says for you, if I want to liquidate it, or I need the money out of it, or the market makes a moves, I really need a really long time to sell the properties. Here in Munich, with such a property, you just need an average 21 days, and it's falling. That's really nice.
Yeah. And I think the way that we maybe have to look at this report, if you look at the first numbers, 81, can you go back?
Yeah, here.
Yeah, 81, 54, outlier, 43, 24, right? It basically goes down. There's this downward trend, which is one number out of control, this 99. Then it goes up a little, 54, 58, 68. So again, we have like a 3-4 months trend. And then 30, 24, outlier, 21. Then it basically goes down with this one outlier again. So maybe because there's not that many penthouses, we have to eliminate these outliers. And then it's basically the lowest it's ever been, right? With 30, 24, 21.
Yes, of course. But also here, I would suggest use the average. So it's about 40, I would say here should be the average, but it's still really low. So as told, a lot of, or most of the cities or places you buy properties, you will have over 100.
Oh.
So we will go to the next one.
Greetings back to Heidenheim, by the way, to David. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys enjoy it. Very spontaneous. Is the first time we do something like this. We weren't sure if you guys like it, but we try.
Awesome. So we see here how many people are renting and how many people are owning properties here.
Yeah.
So 75% are renting. It's staying 26 because it's always using these two. So that's why it is over 100. It uses this width. So it's the change within. Also, what's quite interesting here is what Axel already told. It's getting less real estate that coming to the market, less and less, 10% in the last 5 years.
Which is no
Also
wonder
average,
with
of course.
owning and owning real estate and renting real estate. Germany is a nation of renters, right? We don't really own homes. Why not? I was just talking to a guy from the UK before, and the UK penalizes real estate investors. They support homeowners and they penalize real estate investors. And the more properties you have, the more you get penalized. In Germany, it's the exact opposite. Homeowners, they don't get penalized, but they get no support. So you pay interest rate yourself, you pay renovations yourself, you get a little bit of tax deductions, but it's usually not meaningful compared to how much you would have to spend to renovate your home. You get no depreciation, so you get virtually zero benefits. Real estate investors get all the benefits. You can deduct the interest rate from your taxes, renovations from your taxes, which, by the way, maybe we can work it out with this one, that you buy instead of buying the property for 405, you buy the property for 3 something plus renovation costs, so that it adds to 405. This would save you guys additional tax. You get depreciation, you get all of it. And basically, the more properties you have, it's the exact opposite as in the UK. The more properties you have, the more tax benefits you get, and the less taxes you'll pay. So every property millionaire watching will make millions and pay less taxes than any one of us will do with a regular working job. It's crazy.
So, shutting on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What go up? What is the you mentioned about real estate? There's not enough. This is the supply, yeah?
yes, how it changed over the last 5 years. And what's quite important here, we will get 2022 in a few months, but due to that, sadly, the German government is not the fastest with giving data. So sadly, we are mostly 1.5 years back, but I think it would be looking quite even worse. I could do it on my side here if we would look further in future.
Yeah. Man, the people that sold in 2019 and 2020, they are the ones celebrating now. Huh? They basically sold at the highest point. Good for them.
So also, it's quite a nice fact, but not that important. You see that our property type is in that area where most of the properties are built, so 1960 to 1969. And this is a great thing. Why is it like that? If there comes new regulations, they are probably looking that they don't hurt the property owners that are on the biggest scale. They will take a look at these before they'll come to them. Also, as Axel already mentioned, the apartment already got a really nice energy efficiency, so that's quite a nice value here. So we see the age groups here. What's really cool here?
Before we come to the age groups, we have a question in chat. If the owner lives far from Munich, then would you advise to get property manager who can directly interact with tenants, and how much would they cost on average? So it's a lifestyle decision. Basically, I don't think it's a financial decision. Lucas, I think, can tell you more in a minute how much a property manager really is. I think it's a lifestyle decision if you actually want to take care of tenants or not, if that's really what you want to do. I, for myself, and many of the expats that we work with, they say they just get a property manager because you don't know in advance who your tenant will be. And we probably all know in our private or business life this one person that is just absolutely super annoying. And if you get a tenant like this, then have fun. So it's about the tenant, it's about the location, of course. If not sure why, but if your presence would be required, then of course you maybe want to live close to it. I get a property manager for all properties, and many clients do too. It's just peace of mind, and you're only an investor, right? I have a full-time job already. I'm streaming. If a tenant would call now and say that whatever is broken in his apartment, what am I going to do about it, right? I'm streaming. I don't have time to repair it, and neither do I know how to repair stuff. So that's why I have a property manager, and Lucas can probably tell you what they cost. I think it's around 25 to 30 or something that I'm paying for it.
Yes, it depends a lot to the service you book with. So the smallest ones, as you already mentioned, is 25 to 30 bucks. But what should be mentioned here is that you probably have to pay for new renters. So you have to pay like a monthly fee if they get a new renter for you. There are also providers that where you don't have to pay for that, but they will be probably around 100 bucks per month, and I'm not a fan of it because honestly, in Munich, it's not that hard to find a renter. And if you got a really good property advisor, he should take a property manager. He should take a look what kind of person your tenant is. If he's for example, just doing like studying for a year in Munich, you probably will not choose him because he says no, in 1 year, I have to find a new renter again. So he should be interested that your tenant really stays for a few years. And due to that, I also say probably the best version is the 25, 35 bucks. And that's really cool because, as Axel already told you, nobody really wants to get called at 9 in the evening and says, hey man, my heating is broken. Can you take care? Oh, okay. I have to find someone who's reachable at 9 o'clock. But a property manager will have his contacts. He exactly knows who to call. And he says, hey man, I know it's late, but the tenant doesn't have heating, it's cold outside, you have to go, and they will go, and you can stay relaxed at home, and you know that there's taking care of your tenants. So yeah.
We actually have so I never talked to my landlord. I Googled him once. I think that he's in Stuttgart. He's like a surgeon in Stuttgart. I think that's at least the first name that came up. But I never talked to my landlord because I live in a property actually with a property manager. And we have like a concierge down, like a lobby, something. And it's 24/7 I could go down, or there's also a number that I could call. So in case something would happen, heating breaks, I just call this number. But I don't think my landlord, I don't think they will call my landlord unless there's a bill to pay or something. So he wouldn't even notice.
Yes, as told, I would do the same. It's so much more comfortable, and it's just for a few bucks that you don't have to care. I think it's one of the coolest features.
Do you know?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, continue.
No, I wanted to continue with the age
Yeah.
groups, but I think you.
One question before, do you know that in some rental contracts there's this, that if you move out you have to find a new tenant? Is this still relevant, or is this not legal? Do you know?
Yeah, the thing is, you probably don't want to, because you will always do a favor for a friend, probably, especially in Munich. And you should really check the tenants, as Munich is so high requested. That's one of the things I think the property manager gives you the biggest value with, is that he's really checking everything. Where is he working? Is his Schufa score okay? Did he pay all of the rents to his last renter? They are so detailed. They really say, "Hey man, who is your last landlord?" And they will call the landlord and ask him, "Hey man, were there any problems? How did the property look after he moved out?" And then you really know, okay, what kind of guy is that? And this can bring you, this can save you a lot of time and headache.
So you can basically pick the best cherry here in Munich.
Yes, and you should too. Honestly, it's an investment decision. So, of course, if you have an old friend and you know it's for him it's perfect, you can do it. But in let's say in average, you should take a look at that. So I will continue with the age groups now.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we are seeing here is the most common average age, what you can see here, and we have the income. It's the highest possible, but we also see it's falling in 10% over the last 5 years. What can be a big part of that here is refugees are also counted in here. So they are not earning a lot till zero, because if they get just money from the state, they won't be counted here as 500 or something like that. It will be counted as zero. But honestly, it's right with that. And we see what's really not that often in Germany, that the ages are lowering, and that's a really cool thing, because as you probably know, most of the Germans are getting older and older, and where the old people live, the younger won't be living normally, because the younger ones are pushing in the cities. And what's really nice here is you will see that the younger ones are not directly in the city center, like in the Maxvorstadt or something like that, because as soon as you want a bit of lifestyle, it gets too expensive for them. You pay 2.5 up to 3K for a really small apartment that you're just in the city center. So they go a bit more out of the ring. And that's basically why I think that we can get these started like that.
Age 30 to 45 and 5K income, average PerFinEx viewer, I'd say.
Yeah, it could come up too. So now we have socioeconomy, and I think this is one of the most important data you can get. So for example, you know that in this area, most people have an Abitur. And now comes the most interesting thing. Most people are living alone. So you should buy a property for one, maybe two, but not for 3, 4, or 5 persons. It doesn't make any sense because the request is close to 3 times higher for single person apartments, and you don't get this information from a real estate marketer because you would be super stupid. As soon as you got 3 to 4 rooms, you will say, yeah, it's perfect, but he can't show you this data because you would ask him, why the hell should I invest in that? It doesn't make any sense. And that's why I really love that data.
Munich single city number 1, right? With a lot of one people households.
Yes, true.
Yeah. What do you think of this is a request that we get every once in a while with shared flats, WG, that you would get, for example, a 4-room flat and then you rent it out to 3, 4 different students. What do you think of this, Lukas?
I have two things to say to that. The first is what you should always take a look at. The most of the people that are selling things like that are selling with the rented. So they say, okay, man, the property has like 6% per year, but it has 6% per year because all of the tenants are paying really, really much more than they would in a normal apartment.
6% return on rent, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, return on rent. But the problem is, if you take a closer look to the square foot prices, they are also much higher than on the market. Because due to the high rentals, they can hire it and tell you, hey man, we still have the best rentals. But in the end, for you, it's really interesting how much money do you make after 10 years. And then you have like 3 or 4 years, you have to cover up the gap they put on top for you. And yeah, that's, in my eyes, it can run in a positive way, but it also can run in a really negative way. So in my eyes, you should always calculate with a single talent.
Okay.
Or so with one family, let's say, like that. On the other hand, maybe you already noticed it in the news. There were a lot of reports about it, that they are thinking about that they are still covering the rent prices also for Sondervermietungskonzepte. So even if you do like a WG, you won't be able then to get such high prices. But if you have then a really high rate due to the high square foot prices, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Because you will need years to get the positive cash flow. It still can work. That's also important to say. But in my eyes, you should calculate the worst case scenario always.
Okay.
And if this is a good scenario, then you should invest.
Yeah. So classical high risk, high reward scenario.
Yeah, basically. We have now just the population, and you see it's growing slowly, but still growing. I think I don't have to say much more about it. It's basic information.
Munich is supposed to be falling by 0.1% in 2021. Isn't Munich growing much, much more?
I think due to the war in Ukraine, of course, now it's rising again a lot.
Yeah.
But we have the problem that we don't have enough apartments for all of the people that want to move in. That's our problem.
Yeah.
That's also the reason why the prices are rising so fast. If you don't have the properties that all of these people can move in, where are they moving? They are moving outside of the city and use the OPV or something like that, or Deutsche Bahn to get inside. Even if it's much more uncomfortable, and still if you have nothing available, what should you do? If your workplace is in the city, you have to come that somehow. So, yeah, now we have, it's called Wanderungssaldo.
Net migration.
Yeah, but honestly, it's not that accurate at the moment because the Ukrainians will make such a big impact in the next 2 years that this won't tell a lot about it, because it will be unbelievable high as soon as the data with the Ukrainians will be outside.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure about that.
This chart looks a little dramatic, huh? So minus 250%, plus 170%, multiple times minus 100%. I didn't even know that that was possible, by the way. This chart looks a little dramatic, huh?
I think it's compared to the basic value. There's a basic value, and to this, that it is compared. Due to that, it's possible it's over 100. That's the reason why it is. But still, as you already mentioned, it's quite a hard data to catch because we have a lot of illegal immigrants. You cannot count them, and on the other hand, now we have the Ukrainians, and they will break the chart anyway. I'm sure about that.
Yeah, 2022 numbers will be interesting once the report updates.
It should be ready in March. Normally they update everything. I saw a bit of the data, so they have a presentation at the start of the year always. So that's why I know that this chart will break out completely due to the Ukrainians. But we will see. In 2 or 3 months latest, we can show the data with 2022.
Okay.
Also quite interesting here. I think everybody knows what happened here.
COVID, huh? Plus 37%.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Clear COVID.
Of course, that was COVID. Unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah.
But I also know there it's recovering at the moment, so it's getting better.
Yeah.
Due to the last 2 years, but I think that the numbers are also available on the internet, and you can see that it's getting better at the moment. But yeah, you will have the impact at nearly every town in Germany, and so probably even over whole Europe.
3.2% before COVID isn't like 1% unemployment rate. This is like counted as full employment. It's like extremely low.
I think even 2%
or 2% even.
Or I think from 2% it's full employment.
1 or 2%. Yeah, this 3.2 is extremely low.
Yes, but we have to say it's Munich, so there's a reason why everyone wants to invest here, and that's probably due to that. We saw it on the numbers with the income stream.
Yeah,
you won't find a lot of cities where you have an average from 5K plus.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Yeah, this right. This is also a good answer if you guys, because you guys keep asking about how good is this location or how good is that location, right? Now we know at least about Munich, and you can talk to Lucas. The link is on screen about different locations, but we can see at least for Munich, right? Low unemployment, high income, people in their 30s and 40s, which everybody wants. So Munich as a location is looking mighty fine.
Of course, that's one of the reasons why so many people are investing here. As you just said, it's not only good for the people to invest. It's also nice that you have renters that are probably out of their younger years. They are founding families. They will stay in your apartment, and they are probably really good in paying the rents. They won't leave you there.
And with LMU being the largest university in Germany, we basically get fresh new blood all the time.
Of course, yes, and I think we are scaling here still. I think the numbers are rising every year. So next thing is the noise. So we are talking here about if the window is open, and as I told, we are on one of the most traffic streets in Munich, and we see here still it's a bit less noisy than it's like a normal discussion if you just talk to each other, and that's really amazing. If you're in the city center, so close to the tram station, to basic street, to the central station, that's really not much.
And is this taking the property into account or floor number 8? Do we know?
This is taking the property. I'm quite sure about that.
Okay.
It's taking the property.
Okay, because then on floor 8, on the rooftop terrace, this is going to be even
a bit
less.
I read a study about it. Due to that, the noise is going up physically, so it will be just a bit.
Yeah.
It won't be below the fridge. But as told, I still think it's amazing that you, with an open window in that area, it's not louder than a normal discussion. Okay. Then we have here next train station and next big street, of course, right in front. And now we see how reachable everything is. So how close are you to the next things? And you can see it here. It's marked with green, yellow, and the red area.
I think
As I can't
we're lagging a little bit.
really.
Ja, we can still see nächste große Straße.
I will reconnect shortly. If it's still not working,
No.
give me a second.
While we try to refresh it again, Jane is asking, what about the speculation that prices are so high in Munich that it's a bubble and it will crash? Now it works again. And it will crash at some time. Wouldn't it then make more sense to opt for a tier 2 city? Yeah, so Munich city center is certainly A or A plus, right? Munich a little bit outskirty is then getting B and then C all around it. So if you're not in the S-Bahn region anymore, maybe we're talking about something like B or C, something like this. And what we have been a fan for the longest time, actually since the start of the channel probably in 2020, is like the B and the C regions. Really good C regions. So there's of course good C regions and then there's bad C regions, right? And good C locations and good B locations. And I think with prices that we just had before, but it's like pre-interest rate rise, it was like extremely high, and then it came down with the interest rates. Some properties in the A locations are becoming attractive too. I mean, you can see the rent here on screen, right? And if you just take a look at the rent and the purchasing price, it's like a 5% return on rent. This is usually what you get in B or C locations. Now you get it in an A location. So bubble, now. We talked about it earlier, and if you still get 5%, then we would be very far away from a bubble. We would maybe be a little bit bubbly at the times where we had like 1 or sometimes even 2% here in Munich when the prices were like insanely high pre-interest rates. And second question from Jane, can you also maybe share information on Hausgeld and its tax implications? Do you know something about it, Lukas? I know that there's these nicht umlagefähige Kosten that you can declare in your taxes, right?
Yes, of course, but you have them at every apartment, and I think for that we should do. You can, as Axel already said, book a meeting. We have to take a look there in detail. It's different to everyone because it's important that you take your real data because this can change a lot, and I don't want to give you wrong information. So it has to be calculated in detail. And maybe actually to that, what I wanted to add to the thing you just said.
Please.
I think it's always a question about supply and demand. And the supply is really bad, as you've seen already. And as long as this will stay like that, it will be quite much stick to the zins rates, as Axel already mentioned. And we are seeing that the zins rates, so the interest rates are falling already. So I think if there was a bubble, it happened already. It was last year. And that's why the prices are so low at the moment. And the second thing is you should always take care that the property is It's really it sounds cheap, but it should be a nice property. You should be thinking, okay, that's really a good property. So it has some kind of special, like we have here with such a big terrace, and yeah, that value will stay over the whole time, no matter where you invest. And that's the things you have to look at. And yes, just wanted to add that here.
So maybe, Lucas, can you show this on the screen? I just sent you a link over the Google Meet.
Yes, second.
Because this is, I think, this is what I like to use for this bubble discussion.
Switch here.
There's so the program that we use in order to calculate mortgages is Europace. That's like the largest portal for mortgages that almost everybody uses. There's like two big ones, but Europace is by far the largest one. So if anybody knows anything about property prices, it's certainly the largest mortgage portal there is that is connected to 700, 800 banks or something. And they calculate on a monthly basis their EPX hedonics. So that's, if you go down a little bit, it explains what these funky colors are. Can you? Yeah, here. Then you can see like this purplish something is like the entire properties. Then dark green are flats. Oh. Light green is newly built houses, and gray is existing houses. And then if you go up again, Lucas. Yeah.
Already did. I think it's a bit slow.
Yeah, but now it works. Yeah. So then you can see that it's exactly what Lucas said. If there was a bubble, then it happened already. So you can see 2022, right, was like mid 2022 was like the highest something. Coincidentally, with the rise of interest rates, property prices came down. Who would have thought that? Huh? And who got hit the hardest? Existing properties still continue to go down. That's why these renovated properties are now really good. Because they're fresh and new on top of an existing one, so you can actually get some nice prices. And newly builds haven't been touched virtually, right, in light green. So if the bubble, exactly like Lucas said it, if there was a bubble, it already happened, but this looked like a bubble now if you compare it to the COVID crash, right? This was a very, I think, a healthy breather, what we're seeing here.
All right, should I go back, or do you want to tell more about that?
We can continue with the report.
Okay, 1 second, I will switch here. So I hope you can see the report again. So I already told you that's about accessibility of shopping malls. You see here like schools, healthcare, gastronomy, your spare time stuff you can do. Of course, you can see here in green, yellow, and I guess red. I'm a bit colorblind, so
yeah.
don't be
Green,
mad at
yellow,
me.
red.
I
Yeah.
can see it fully. So due to that, we are in the city center. Everything is close, so we have so much options that I think we should not go in detail. You see the numbers. It's Munich city center. What's a bit more interesting are the smaller areas. So with foot, you can reach 10 shops where you can shop stuff. There are 27 schools or universities and all of this stuff, 25 restaurants, 16 possible healthcare centers, and 62 possible spare time activities. With the bike, they are already rising, already mentioned that here. Yeah, so super cool to get or super fast to get to any location or to any stuff you need on your daily business. Any questions here, Axel, from your side?
I think this
But I
looks
think
really
it's
good.
quite
You
obviously.
can basically reach everything that you want to reach, either by, maybe not by foot, but by MVG, so public transport, car, bike, whichever one the tenant likes.
Yes, of course. And
Okay, now
latest,
it
we have
gets
the price
interesting.
strategy. Latest, we have the price strategy. It's like it gives us a range what the price should have. So it says, so the AI says it's worth 469,700. What's really much more than you offer at the moment. And yeah, maybe here the important thing, why we're doing all of this. If you think a bit about it, it's a quite stupid idea to get the valuation from the guy who sells the property. It's somehow a bit weird because his interest is to sell it as high as possible. So of course he will, yeah, do the data as good or as well as he can. And honestly, I think that's normal. Every one of us would do it like that. But we want to show you that there are options on the market, and it's not accessible for everyone. In this case, Price Hubble is quite expensive, but we use this to generate the value to give you like the view from someone else. In this case, it's an AI, and it gives you a lot more information than I could do by my own research, Axel could do, and that you could do by your own. So yeah, that's just the thing I wanted to say about that.
Yeah. So this is I think the perfect summary to this. That who would be able to crunch all these numbers, and since you mentioned anybody would sell at a high price because it's in their interest, I think this is exactly what separates us from maybe a lot of real estate agents. I don't want to put them all into the same basket and beat on them, but this is, you can see here exactly what I'm saying in many of the videos. If could we sell this property to you guys for 469,700 euros? Yes, we probably could, but then we have to talk about a lot, and then to you guys, because it's a lot of money, then we have to talk it to the banks, because they say, the return on rent is actually not that bad, and then you have a very big gap between what you get in rent and what you have to pay the bank, and all of this. And this is a lot of work for everyone involved, and it's a bad deal for you. If we just lower the prices to 405, which is what we're selling this for, which is like 5,000 below the minimal price of Price Hub, what a coincidence, then you get a really good deal, which means you have more money, which potentially you could buy more properties if you want to do it. The bank likes it. It's just really good business for everyone. It's easy sale because there's not a lot of discussion with you guys. It's just, hey, we have a new property, you guys buy it, bank agrees, that's it, on to the next one. You can buy more properties if that's what you want to do. You recommend us to your friends. There's a lot of other people coming. This is just really good business. So I don't really understand the real estate agent strategy of just squeezing out every little euro. I think that we're doing a much better decision here.
Let me give one good word to the real estate marketers. I think what we are quite unique in the situation, or which makes our situation quite unique, is that due to the reachment on YouTube from your side, we have the requests for the property already. So we can spend our time with finding the perfect properties. A real estate agent spends most of his time to find a property to sell. And if he finds someone, he really wants to get the contract. And of course, and I think it's completely human, you want to give the landlord a good price, so he gives the property to you. And that's also why the gap on the market is so high. Because you go to the landlord and say, hey man, it's probably worth 400,000 or 300,000. Okay, the gap is high, we will use 400,000. I will make you 425 or 450. And due to that we always want to believe people, the landlords will firstly say, okay, yes man, if you can do it with that price, do it. But then it's on the other hand, just find a stupid one who's ready to pay that much. And in our case, it's a bit different. That's why I said you cannot say that, or what you also mentioned, all of the markets are bad. It's really important to understand that they are in a complete different situation. So that's just a good word I want to say to them.
Didn't you tell me last week about this real estate agent that tried to sell a property in Dortmund for 100K more than Price Hubble said?
Yes, it was a client from you, and she sent it to us. And maybe I have to be specific here. If you're really interested with buying a property of us, of course you can show us what else you got offered, because we want to show you how it's more with us. You're not just buying a property. We want you to understand why you're investing in that. That's maybe 90% of the content that Axel is producing, and how the back end is working. Let's say like that. And yeah, so it's not that often that the gap is so high, but I would say 50,000 is quite basic that it's higher than it should be. But as told, they have another strategy. They have to find properties, and then after that, also have to find a client. The process is different to ours.
Okay, now that we have the result, we have a couple of questions from Remus. Is that a 2-room flat with a terrace for 500,000? It's a 1-room flat with a rooftop for almost 500,000, yeah. I mean, Price Hubble says almost 500,000. We have it for 405. No chance, for 500,000. There's not even a bathtub in that bathroom. Do I pay 500,000 to have showers like in a hotel? Okay, so not sure when you joined Remus, but we basically went through all of it: location, property details, renovation, all of it. And 1-room, 2-room, bathtub, not bathtub. So if you would have a 2-room with bathtub in Plauen, this would certainly be not the value of 500,000, but then you get all the amenities that you mentioned. So why is this worth 500,000? Because it's Munich. It would be the same value or almost the same in Frankfurt, in Berlin, Stuttgart, Cologne, in all the A cities. But this property would not be worth 500,000 if it would be in Castrop-Rauxel or somewhere else in any D location. That's certainly true. So maybe you want to go back. The video will stay online on YouTube, and then you can scroll back and see exactly what we typed in and why Price Hubble came to that price recommendation.
I think the important thing here is to say, of course, there could be an apartment with a bathtub, but then you would not have, like you just told me, it's natural stone in the bathroom. So the quality of everything is really, really amazing. And that's some kind of special. Of course, you could have that lower and for that have a bathtub, for example, but I think that's not the thing we should discuss about. It's an investment property, and you should be looking at the investment case.
Yeah. Okay, and one more question from James. I might have missed the beginning. Yeah, so you can scroll back. The live stream is about to end, so you can scroll back and watch. The video will stay online. We're not going to take it down. How much down payment would you recommend for the property that you're currently discussing? So what we checked, if you get 100% financing, here, 22,275. That is the down payment. For taxes and for the notary, 5.5%, because we're here in Bavaria. And we're pretty confident, we're very confident in fact, because first quarter is always the easiest to finance as well with banks. That if you have a really good financial situation and you can actually afford a 400K property, then you get 100% financing. And then you will be good to go with 22,275 euros. Anything that you'd like to add, Lucas?
No, I think we said everything, and we got really detailed here. So yes, I think there was a lot of things to say, but we got through everything in detail. And as told, if maybe in a few months when we got the new data, we can do something similar again.
So then thank you very much, Lucas, for being here at after 9 p.m. with all of us and showing us the tool. Hopefully this was helpful for you, so you know that in the future, if you have the question for yourself, should I buy existing property in Leipzig, that the question goes much deeper than just is it a newly built or an existing one, and about the location. Now you can see actually how much data goes into making a professional property valuation. Thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see each other again on Friday, 2 days from now, with the Friday video. Wish you all happy Bergfest, as we call Wednesday, and talk to you soon, guys.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.